You surprised me when you suggested brick for this space. You'd always talked about it being like a jewel and everything, the bronze would be like the setting for the ring.
The idea of the brick is that it grounds it. You can't have everything moving. The problem is you have to have movement and stillness. Silence and not silence.
Yes, the tension between the two.
The tension between the two. Otherwise, the whole thing would have moved too much. The idea is that this is a classical shape, it's perfect geometry, and this one is organic. It's moving with the river, and the two against each other are creating the tension.
The brick gives silence and strength to everything that's happening inside there.
Yeah.
It's practical.
And I love that we opened up the joints. We use this beautiful brick that is sand cast. By taking the mortar and coming flush, it becomes like stone. It's ambiguous. And it has a kind of rawness and a simplicity.
Yes.
That then sets off the warmth of the ceiling. And the ceiling was a lot of work. The ceiling was something that we developed from other projects and took to a very, very kind of refined level because we wanted the absorption acoustically. So that if you know, there's no reverb.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, it's...
And so you get that intimacy.
The tension between the curved lines, and there's so many curved lines, but there's so many straight lines. I mean, vertical straight lines, horizontal straight lines. The two, they play off each other so beautifully.
And you remember when we talked about setting the level, that this would somehow skip across the road and that from every room you would get the river.
The narrow area here that then opens right up is so dramatic. It was then I realized that you're a theater artist, not just an architect.
No. Well, you know, the thing I think that we talked a lot about was the theater inside and then the theater outside. And that the two together need to somehow make a date and make a special memory. And so when you step out of that, you don't want to be just bored over here. And so you want there to be places all around for casual conversations and all the sorts of things that happen, the bumping into old friends and having a little quick conversation, but also getting food quickly.
Yes.
And going to the bathroom quickly.
But before we get on to the utility of this space, which is huge, let's just talk about the beauty, because, you know, if you go to Syracuse, if you go to Taormina, if you go to Ephesus, where they have these theaters, like in Taormina, you can see Mount Etna in the distance, right? And here, what you've done is created this beautiful Greek theater, but in touch with nature. It's humanity and nature.
Where do you get these kind of long river views? Look, you get all the way to there, all the way to there, and we said this is where we want to create a terrace that becomes one of the country's terraces, and then you can come and enjoy that.
Yeah, I'm going to be spending my summers on that terrace from now on.
All of this green will fill into a beautiful garden, and so you'll get the full breadth of that river. As a friend of mine used to say, there's nothing more pleasurable than the bend in a river.
Now, this bar, this speaks to the needs of a theater. Now, this may look excessive. Remember that the god of theater was the god of wine. But this means that in 15, 20 minutes of an interval, everybody can come, grab a glass of wine, and also, it's gorgeous.
I think you have to have something that says, I'll see you at the bar, like I'll see you at the red bar.
Right.
I'll see you at the white bar. I'll see you at the gold bar. And that's why we did different colors, because it's also fun to be able to just say it like that, right?
Yes, that's true. And this is amazing. The way that you've brought the outdoors indoors, like we're in the middle of the building, and you've got a garden right in the middle of it all, along with this beautiful stone. What is this?
This is like the crust on a loaf of bread. This is the stuff that's right at the top. And they slice it, and they used to throw it away, but we loved it so much, we started using it on several projects, and then it became the most expensive part of their quarry
They
to
threw
buy.
it away because it looked so rough.
It looked so rough, but I loved the roughness. And when
Yeah.
we saw it, we said, oh my God, we got to use this. But I think this was quite daring of you to let us go in and out like this. And I really thank you for that, because I've always loved this idea that you see from one space to the next.
Right. Wow. Well, listen, when I first saw the designs that you were bringing forward, I realized this is a work of art. This isn't just a conventional building like other buildings. This is a work of art.
But that's what you asked for. And I mean, look, the thing is that we wanted this to feel like it belonged on the edge of a river. And we kept
Right.
saying, what belongs on the edge of a river? These river plants, nature is designed to work on the edge of a river, and the way that they grow in one direction, I always thought was fascinating. Like everything else grows in multi-directions, but river plants stretch towards the river, which makes perfect sense. And so every one of these rooms tries to grab the length of the river.
Oh, it's just ravishing, and I can't wait to have audience members come here and, you know, enjoy and connect with the work. And this is the old Tom Patterson stage.
How gutsy of you to take theater out from the dark environment and say, no, we're okay with it also having an environment that lets nature in and light in. And so suddenly you have this kind of space that's also theater next to the other
Yes.
space. I think that's really cool.
It's ready to go. It just needs the public. And
And the idea that one space flows with large doors. I mean, look at this door that we had through the genius of people like Doron Meinhardt, who worked on this, and Lindsay Hockman, and others in your team. I mean, the fact that you can, with one hand, move this door,
yeah,
and it can close off this space.
and we can do performances in here at the same time as we can do performances in there.
And so these spaces all flow one to the other, which I love. I'm dying to see the big wedding.
Yeah.
or party that goes from one space to the next all the way to the end.
Well, one day we will open this up and then we will draw back the curtain.
That's
Sorry.
funny.
I couldn't resist. You guys were so cute there, hiding in the... I got a question because it so much impacts the room. How did you decide on this color? It's the color of the seats.
It was an image I saw of a club in Japan
Oh.
that had the dark wood with this velvet orange color, and I just loved that combination, and I thought this would really work here.
Yeah, it's got a beautiful, sophisticated kind of tonality to it. It kind of glows in the room.
We actually designed these chairs for this theater because we wanted not only the backs to have it, but the fronts to have it and everything to have it. So it just became one thing. The kind of rectilinear architectural kind of feeling of these, they offset against this beautiful dark wood, which was really the theme.
Yeah, and the seats in this kind of thrust auditorium, especially in this one with this elongated thrust, are critical because they frame the stage. And this angle, I remember losing a lot of sleep over this, and we kept talking about it, you know, should it have more of an organic flow or whatever, but the great thing about this is that it has a strength to it. Both the angle, the way it embraces the stage, and also the way that you framed it so that it has a solidity and compound mass, as Hamlet would say.
During the competition, we asked a bunch of people the same question that are world experts, and they gave us different answers. So we thought we were going to work hand in glove under your direction.
The arrival of this stage in the Tom Patterson was an evolution. So it was a discovery. It's a meditation on the thrust stage that we have at the festival. And it was fantastic that we were able to work together, that you were able to create the building around this But we have such a staff of extraordinary people in every department. They know what they're doing. We brought in Fisher Dax and other theater experts, but that was in a support role for the work that you were doing and we were doing together.
Yeah, and I remember the agony with which you took it on. And I really admired that. You were going back and forth on even the distance from the edge of the stage to the first seat, back and forth, and the rake, and that we prepared these mock-ups, and you would sit in the mock-up, then we would try it a little bit lower, and your aspiration that from every angle you could see everybody in the room, and they could see you, the whites of your eyes, and that they could hear you at a whisper at every moment in the room.
Well, the acoustics in a room like this is a challenge because you're going to have your back to some member of the audience. The lighting of this stage, this wood, for instance, is a hardwood that has been beaten with chains so that we can then have a sense that the light just doesn't come across it like a piece of plastic. And then the relationship to this stage house that we have is really critical, both in color as well as, the functionality of it.
We talked about this building having three qualities. One was that it would be an attractor.
Right.
And this is not an easy thing. Like to have a building tell you, okay, I got to get up and go 2-3 hours and see it and be part of it, and that it would have that. And remember, you put that before us. But we said it must engage with the landscape and the river because that's what it's about, really. You got this amazing site. And then the third one was that there was so much institutional love for the TPT. And I was struck by that because it was a curling rink that became really, in a very ad hoc manner, became this beloved theater for so many people. And people that you didn't know would write me and say, this is my favorite theater in the whole world.
Yeah.
And so we said, there is something about this feeling of wood and intimacy that we better pay homage to, respect, that at the end of the day, people are going to come here and they're going to say, it has that feeling that we loved and more. And I think it's very unusual for Canadian cultural institution to say we want to be the best in the world.
It's in the DNA of this place. The Vivian Beaumont Theatre is based upon the festival stage. They came and did measurements. The Olivier Theatre at the National is based upon the festival stage. So achievement, especially in architecture, in the relationship between the audience and the actor was what the Stratford Festival is all about from 1953. But the sense of providing the elements of theater, by that I mean real silence, total darkness. These theaters, like for instance, these signs, in both the festival and here, that say, exit, can go out because it's considered a stadium. So you get real darkness. Like when we have a blackout in these spaces, magic can happen on the stage, and when the lights come up, people are shocked, right? And here, unlike the old Tom Patterson, you've sunk this auditorium into the ground. We are protected from noise from the outside, from elsewhere. We are sheltered and held. We're a Greek amphitheater.
That's where it came from. You remember, they always start high and they build into the hill. That is the beginnings of theater. And the shape is really from that. Because when you talked to us, you said what really creates theater is the emotion from one audience member to another audience member. I always thought it was audience to actor. It never occurred to me that this person looking over at that person would feel the emotion that this is trying to create. And I remember you said, we got to create this where it smushes everything together.
Well, these auditoriums where you're right, like something's happening here, but I look across it, I see not only you, the actor, I see the audience looking at you. It's a very conscious act of theater going. It's meta-theatrical. Like it's not like you're in a movie theater with a huge popcorn thing and you're sitting there and ignoring everybody around you. When you go to a movie, and it's empty, go, oh good, it's empty. But if you come into a theater and it's empty, you'd never say, oh good, it's empty. You'd say, this is damn strange. Whereas here, what we're doing is building a sense of community.
Yeah.
This is the polity of this community, that every show is different.
The support that this theater had, financially and emotionally, is about community. You have a community. This is a resonance of meaning for the people that come here. It has a sense of purpose that is way beyond just architecture. This better have been good. I felt that all the way through.
Community is the essence of every one of the rooms you've created in this space, and critically in this central auditorium in the Tom Patterson Theatre, because we would have people come from all over the world come, and this was their favorite theater. They'd get to see plays here that are not done that often, but here they'd be done to extraordinary standards, right? But we didn't offer them any place where they could actually gather together and talk to each other. They'd spread out on the driveway and go look down at the water, which was romantic and nice. But what you have managed to create and what we needed was space for education groups to come and to be able to be together, for forum events where the audience comes together with the artists to understand the work. The members lounge here is vitally important to the future of the festival, because people meet each other here and then they stay in touch, friendships are formed. And what do they share in common? A love for coming to this place. The more that we have a sense of community, the better the festival is in the years ahead.
The aspiration was to create a special place, because architecture, I think, does have a rightful role in participating in trying to create.
And that's what this is about. People come here and together as a community, they decide what's laughable, they decide what is heroic and beautiful. This is a place where we, in a way, decide upon the kind of human beings we will be together. And that's why in every Greek town, if you go to Ephesus, for instance, you know that when they built the theater, it was 1/10 the size of the adult population, so that over the course of 10 feast days, they could get the entire city through that theater.
If it is such a durable art, it must touch on something which is archetypal to us.
What we were trying to do was to create a kind of secular temple, in essence.
I would say theater has that role within this community. It has, dare I say it, I think it has a very spiritual role.
Our staff, our artists, our audiences take theater very, very seriously. It's a very disciplined form of play. And so the standards that our lighting designers, technicians, sound designers, our crews have insisted on means that the margin of error is extremely small.
And the imperative was way beyond just meeting the program and the budget. It was, I think, speaking to the emotional reaction that you were after. And what it takes to really do that is not for the faint of heart. And so I was really captivated by the process that you took us on. And it was a journey to get to the soul of what you were after. Was something really, really interesting. I'm really dying for this place to be alive with the people, because that's what it was all for.
In making theater, it's ephemeral. And while we can record it, we never have that same sensation that that audience had on a given night. And when the play goes away, it's a memory. One of the beautiful things about architecture is how it endures. And it has an ability to tell future generations who we are, who we were. When people come here in 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now, they will know that there were people once who built this, who aspired to create something extraordinary, who wanted to create something that was beautiful and that will endure. And that these people who made this had care and aspiration. That idea of sometimes our reach should exceed our grasp, or else what's heaven for? As beautiful as it is, what's even more beautiful, the part of all of us that made it happen. That speaks to the beauty of humanity.